Save. Save. There we go. Alright. Down in the subway system. Look at all this graffiti and stuff. Destroy all humans. Alright, let's see where we can go. Can't go that way. Can't interact with any of the walls. Climbing up. Step inside, and the squalor of the disused U-Bahn tunnel gives way to the warmth of your safe house. A man waits inside, silhouetted against the dim fluorescent lighting. Paul Emsel. Something bad has happened, hasn't it? He steps forward, revealing a pale and expressionless face, light glinting off of steel-rimmed glasses. Paul Amsel, your team's fixer and landlord. Part deal maker, part information broker, one of the most well-connected men in Berlin. His eyes sweep across the team as he takes it all in. The grim faces, the hard stares, Iger's fury, Monica's absence. I had a feeling. How did she? His face has gone ashen. He swallows, takes a moment to chew on the words before spitting them out. How did it happen? Something in the vault security system cooked her brain. It was too quick to be black, I see. Blurry nods, her motions robotic and spare. Monica died of a biofeedback-induced stroke. That's right. Iger thrust a gloved finger into your chest, and this idiot stood by and let it happen. That's bullshit, Iger. You weren't even in the room. No, I wasn't there, and that's exactly the problem. If I'd been in your place, Monica would still be alive with us, and with us. Instead, I left her with you, and now my friend is a corpse in a basement. Look, Iger, Blackfire is right. You weren't stuck in that basement with us. You don't know how things went down in there. So do us all a favor and shut it down, okay? Shut it down? F that. Iger turns to face Dietrich. She towers over him, but he stands his ground. I respect you, Dietrich. But you know that? I respect you, Dietrich. You know that. But you don't have my training. None of you have. Monica was good. She was the best, right? But she was also overconfident. She treated the job like it was a game. Do that long enough and you're gonna get burned. Iger turns her focus back to you. If you've been paying attention, you'd have figured all this out on your own by now. You'd have known that Monica needed watching as much as that door. Enough, Iger. Emsel's voice is hoarse, his expression blank. Enough. Iger pushes ahead, heedless of the interruption. Her voice remains measured by the fire in her eyes. How many seconds pass between Monica's first convulsion and her plug getting pulled? 4? 5? Do you know how much damage biofeedback can do to a Decker's brain in 5 seconds? You don't have to answer that. Of course you know. Monica died while you stood there and watched. This is all yours. That's enough. Amsel's voice comes out in a roar, and his first fist smashes down on the desk behind him. Iger, you and Blackfire can have it out later, but I've had enough. We need to talk action. Our client sent you into something much bigger than you to let us believe. I want you to know why. Or I want to know why. Right there with you. This was supposed to be a milk run. Payback isn't the only reason why we need to find them. We saw something back there, something that we weren't supposed to see. It's fair to assume that we were still in danger. He pauses, rubs his temples. Agreed. And to neutralize the danger, we need to know who we're dealing with. Let us review the elements that transpired tonight. The smallest detail could be important, so hold nothing back. Monica lived long enough to say a name. Sorry, I'm butchering all these names. Feuerschwinge? She fought hard to tell us. It must be important. Ansel seems taken aback. He pauses for a moment before responding. The Feuerschwinge. This is unexpected. You'll have to forgive me. This brings back many unpleasant memories. The Feuerschwinge? Blah. The Feuerschwinge? The most terrible of the great dragons. There are those who would disagree, but they never experienced the terror of living in her shadow. You are far too young to remember her, of course, but for Germans of my generation, the name Feuerschwinge is synonymous with chaos, destruction, and death. The dragons of today are subtle creatures, full of patience and guile. Feuerschwinge was not. After her awakening, she went on a 4-month rampage that claimed tens of thousands of lives. Ilda takes a deep breath, slowly releases it. This is a haunted look in his eyes. Those were dark days. Countless men, women, and children were slaughtered, roasted alive in their homes by a creature of legend. No hope for salvation, and no end in sight. It was a horror that you cannot begin to understand. What stopped her? I can't imagine that a rampaging dragon would just go away on its own. Eventually, the Feuerschwinge was brought down by a man named Dr. Adrian Valclair. Well, with the help of the Luftwaffe, of course, but it was experimental weapons designed by Dr. Valclair that finally pierced her hide. She fell in a hail of bullets and rocket fire, and crashed down in the radioactive wasteland of the Sox. This event was called the Dragonfall. Safe at last from the dragon's wrath, Germany celebrated Valclair as a hero. Our own Siegfried, a modern-day dragon slayer. My own family practically worshipped the man. If the Dragonfall was as important an event as you make it out to be, I'm surprised that I've never heard of it. Those early years of the Awakening were dramatic, not just on a national level but a global scale. New species of awakened animals were being discovered daily. Within 2 years of the Dragonfall, the active use of magic had returned to the world, a new source of terror for a bewildered public. And in 2021, the sudden emergence of orcs and trolls gave rise to yet another wave of global panic. In light of such turmoil, it is any surprise that Dr. Valclair and the Feuerschwinge were forgotten. Is it any surprise? Dragons were yesterday's news. Again, all this happened decades ago. To the best of my knowledge, the story of Feuerschwinge is a bit of historical trivia and nothing more. Alright, so Monica spent her dying breath trying to tell us about a long dead dragon. Any ideas as to why? No, it didn't make any more sense to me than it does to you. The Dragonfall is ancient history. Feuerschwinge has been dead and gone for 42 years. But there's one thing that I do know. Whatever Monica saw, whatever she was trying to tell us, it was important. He visibly struggles to calm himself, takes a deep breath, and slowly releases it. I will look into this, and I'll find the answers. In the meantime, did you turn up anything else in the vault? He appeared to be the head of security. That is not much to go on. Do any details about the orc come to mind? Any distinguishing features that I could look into? He was an older guy, for one. From the sound of his voice, I'm guessing mid to late 40s. Pretty old for an orc. And he'd had skin grafts. Most of his face looked like a replacement material. If the grafts came from a legitimate hospital, there may be medical records. That is something. I'll see what I can find out. Do you know anything else during the run that may be of value? The estate was just a front for whatever was going on in the basement. That much is clear. It wasn't a minor enterprise either. That facility took serious funds to build. And time. There was more to it than we saw. Places that don't spring up overnight. And all in secret. The owners, whoever they may be, were none too pleased by your escape, I'm sure. What else did you find? That's all we got. It's not much. It is thin, I agree. A basement, a middle-aged orc with skin grafts, and a long-forgotten world event. still missing something. Who paid for this run? I don't know his exact identity. I did not set up the run. Monica did. I warned her. I told her not to take the job, but she assured me that it would be a cakewalk. Monica was approached recently by a man who calls himself Green Winters. He used to be a prominent activist in the F-state political scene. I never much liked the man, and I certainly never trusted him. But Monica, she would do anything for her cause, anything for the Flux state. Winters swore that the data he was after was crucial to ensuring the future stability of the Flux. And that was all it took. Sounds like Green Winters is our best lead then. Yes, most definitely. It is clear that Green Winters has involved us in something much larger than he led Monica to believe. When he finds out what happened on the run, he's probably gonna rabbit. We need to chase him down before this happens. So we need information on Green Winters, we need it fast. There is a man here in the Kraz Bazaar, a Turk named... Yep. He owns a little Sokov shop just down the way called Cafe Kazev. Sezevi, something. This man is also a purveyor of information. I've done business with him from time to time. And you think he would know something about Green Winters? When I discovered Monica's renewed association with Green Winters, I contacted Altug. One of his people has been keeping tabs on Winters ever since. As I said, I did not trust the man. For a good reason, it would seem. I'll talk to Altug and see what he knows about Green Winters. Very well. Tell him I sent you. I'll do what I can to dig into the information that you've uncovered already, sparse though it may be. Karma. The doggy. Doki. Dante. As you start towards the safe house door, a large four-legged form steps around the corner. Dante, Monica's dog, an enormous mongrel of indeterminate breed. A low whimper emerges as he enters the room, head hanging low. Oh shit, Dante. Don't worry, boy, we'll look after you. He started whimpering about an hour ago and turned into a full-blown howl. Wouldn't stop. That's when I realized something bad had happened. Looking down into those huge brown eyes, you see intelligence and sadness. He lets out a small whine and rubs his head against you. Dante leans into you and looks up mournfully, pressing his ribs against your leg. I guess the dog is going to be with you, Blackfire. Well, perhaps a part of Monica lives on in Dante. Return to the safe house when you're finished with Altug. Fearden. With a little luck, he can help us locate Winters, and we can get to the bottom of this. So I don't know any German, so I'm gonna mess up all the German words. Sorry about that. And now, I think we should take a moment for Monica. Moment passed. Alright, let's talk. Dietrich turns his head at your approach. His aging face is traced with a network of faint scars, the legacy of too many fights over too many years. While he still retains a degree of strength and vigor, it's obvious that the shaman you see today is a shadow of his former self. Okay, so he's a shaman. Despite all this, there is still an aura of power surrounding the man. He raises his bottle, offering it to you. Blackfire, welcome. I've got a bottle of schnapps that needs sharing. You've got a fallen comrade to drink to. To Monica. The liquor in the bottle is crystal clear, and as you raise it to catch an intoxicating whiff of cloves and caramel, it tastes of sweet corn and walnuts, with a lingering aftertaste of buttery toffee. You swallow a swig, then return the bottle to Dietrich's outstretched hand. He takes a long pull on the bottle and locks eyes with you. Let me ask you a question, Blackfire. What made you choose to come to Berlin? Why do you want to know? Monica told me that you moved here from the Rhine River Megaplex. Made it sound like you've been there for a good many years. Successful years at that. Leads a man to wonder why you packed up and moved here. The run went bad, my team paid the price. Went bad, huh? Like the one we just came back from went bad? Worse. I was the only survivor. That's rough, friend. How'd it happen? We were double-crossed. The run went off without a hitch, but instead of paying us, our client decided to set up an ambush. Miserable bastard. Alright, if what you're telling me is true, how'd you walk out alive? Through the timely arrival of some very well-armed friends. Those are always the best kind, aren't they? So after all of this went down, you decided to bail out of the Ruhrplex and head to Berlin. Am I getting that right? More or less. There wasn't much left for me in the Ruhrplex, and Monica made me a hell of an offer. Ah, yes, Monica. Dietrich raises his bottle again, then closes his eyes and takes a long drink. After the moment has passed, he returns his attention to you. It all comes back to our girl, doesn't it? So let me ask you, just what was your relationship with Monica anyway? I know that you two knew each other way back, but she was pretty coy about these things. You always this inquisitive? Yeah, I suppose. My life's an open book, so I guess I just sort of figure that everyone else's will be too. So how about it? Want to fill me in? We were very close. That's so. Huh, learning something new every day. Well, anyway, good on you both. She was a wonderful woman, and I hope your time together was happy. Oh, well, I wasn't sure which way that was gonna go. I guess it went that way. I was thinking we were very close, as in like maybe they were really close, younger friends, or kind of were raised together, but guess not. Fair enough. Anyway, I've taken enough of your time, and the bottle's almost empty. Thanks for taking the time to talk. For what it's worth, I'm happy you're here with us. Rest in peace, Monica. We'll miss you, girl.